been a minute, but your girl is trying to get back into her groove. So today, I thought about, let me just go ahead and get on this cooking video since I was making this lasagna for the first time, y'all. We making a seafood lasagna. So as you can see, I got me some blue crab in a jar. I got me some super jumbo. I think these are tiger shrimp. I had these in my freezer for a while. One lobster tail that I had in the freezer, and then just some little shrimp that I had also. I think I got those at Aldi. So they're just some raw little medium shrimp. So I got all of that seafood. I'm sorry, out of my freezer. And God put me some ingredients together to make a seafood lasagna. This is my first time making seafood lasagna, and I'm making it with hearts of palm noodles, as you can see right here from Natural Heaven. Y'all, these noodles, they're all their products. When I tell you they have not let me down thus far, I'm just so excited about it. And I'm telling you, they have rice, they have spaghetti, all of it is hearts of palm. As you can see right there, that is very easy to make. You don't have to pre-boil them or anything. And for that one package, I believe is only 70 calories. So, and no, barely any carbs, if any carbs. But anyway, these are the seasonings that I am using to season my shrimp. So I got a little bit of everything, as you can see right here. So a little slap your mama, a little Tony's, a little crab seasoning, black pepper. What else did I have here? Um, a little garlic salt. And what I'm, all these seasonings that I'm putting on there, it's just going to be for the shrimp. And that's pretty much all that's going to be seasoned. That ground nutmeg is going to go into my bechamel. Is that how you say it, y'all? I know this voiceover about to be all over the place, but anyway, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I got a frog in my voice, so if I keep saying, just don't pay me no attention. But these are some of the cheeses that I'm going to be putting on top of this lasagna. So I went on YouTube and got two different people's recipes and kind of am using both, a little from both of their videos. So that's what you're gonna see. So these are pretty much all my ingredients. Some spinach is gonna go in there. These are my cheeses. I'm gonna make a bechamel sauce, which is gonna be my first time making it. And I'm gonna be making a ricotta mixture that we're actually gonna put on the lasagna. So we're gonna get back to the seafood, cut it up, and get everything prepared for the lasagna. So again, these are the seafoods that I am choosing to use. This can of crab meat cost me $25. Yes, it did. So when I tell you this recipe is not cheap, the shrimp wasn't that expensive. This was already in my freezer, so that was cool. And these jumbo tiger shrimp, I done had those for a minute. So it was time to go ahead and cook them up. So if you got some old seafood or stuff that you done had in your freezer, just get it and throw it into this dish. All right, so let's get started, y'all. So this is me just cutting up my seafood. And you want to kind of put it like in chunks a little bit, just so that when people bite into, their piece of lasagna, they get that, kind of chunk of meat, opposed to like you using ground beef or something to that nature. So when you cut up your seafood, just try to make sure that you have some chunks of meat in there so that, they'll have some with every little bite. So yeah, that's me cutting up all of that stuff. So that's cut up. So now we're going to get into our ricotta mixture. So we're going to use some ricotta, some sour cream, a little garlic paste. That's my first time using that, y'all. And we also going to put some shredded Parmesan cheese in there. And my seasonings are just going to be slap your mama, a little red pepper, and I would rather use fresh parsley because I like to use all fresh ingredients. But your girl didn't have that on hand. So we just gonna use that in the jar parsley, okay? So that's 1 cup of ricotta cheese that we're putting in first. Then we're gonna put that 1 cup of sour cream in there, and you can double this, or if you're making a bigger pan. You see, I just got a little small pan, and then a little bit of the garlic paste. Throw a little bit of that slap your mama in there, and I did use the low sodium one. And then there's the parsley that I put in there, and then you just gonna mix that up really good. You see what your girl doing right there? Yeah. So just stir it up, throwing a little red pepper flakes, and that's only if you want to. And through this process, I did go back and season it a little bit more. So you can taste it because it doesn't have egg in it. So you can taste it, make sure it's seasoned to your perfection, or add whatever you want in there. I almost forgot to throw my Parmesan cheese in there, but that was actually what I needed to thicken it, because I was stirring it. I'm like, this kind of loose. And I'm like, oh yeah, your cheese. So I threw that in there, and y'all see how it came out? Voila. So here we're going to cut up some shallots. I just cut up 1 shallot, and I actually went in and got another garlic and cut that up. So I cut up at least maybe 3 to 4 fresh garlic. And that's my first time really cooking with shallots. Really good. Gives it a good taste. So now we're going to go ahead and put some butter in the pan, a little bit of oil, and start getting those shallots together. And you just want to cook them till they kind of get like a translucent texture. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the garlic. Don't let your garlic burn, y'all, but you want to get it in there with the shallots. And then you're going to add your spinach in there. Probably like 1 bag. Because y'all already know when you make spinach, it's going to, it's going to go down to hardly nothing. Put that to the side. In that same pan, add a little bit more butter. And throw all your seafood in there. Not the crab yet that's in the can, the jar. We're going to say a jar because it wasn't a can. But then at the end, once you see that your seafood is ready, add your crab meat in there just so it can get some of that flavor. It's only going to be for a few seconds. Just mix it on up in there real good like that. And as you can see, it's all mixed together. We're going to pull that out, put it to the side. And now we're going to put this bechamel together. Is that how you say it? If not, y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't use flour, so I'm using that Isopure no carb protein powder. That's going to be my flour. Y'all, that's what I fry my food in. I use that and a couple other things together. But that's what I fry my food in. So you can use it just like flour. So this is my first time making this, y'all, like I said. So it actually came out pretty good. You just want to keep stirring it just like you would do with flour, and just make sure that it gets that grittiness out of it. So you just want to stir, 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 stir. I cut some of it out, how much I was stirring, but I stirred for a while because you want it to get kind of smooth. And once you get that smooth texture, then you can go ahead and add your heavy whipping cream or your half and half. I'm going to show y'all half and half, but I did do both. I did a little half and half, and I also use heavy whipping cream. So you're going to see that coming up here next. After I got that all smooth, we're going to add that half and half in there. I had to turn that pan down because, yeah, it was a little hot. I didn't measure that, y'all. Just kind of like eyeball it. And because I had the ricotta mixture, I didn't really need a lot of the bechamel. I saw a lady that made it just with bechamel, didn't put any ricotta. So you could do either or. As you can see, that's what the nutmeg was for. Just a little tad bit in there. And you actually could taste that in the lasagna. It was actually gave it a really good flavor. I added a little pepper as well. I think I added a little pink salt as well. So these are all my ingredients, y'all. That is the hearts of palm noodles. I actually took them out of the box earlier and put them on a paper towel to dry them out. You want to make sure that you dry out your noodles, because that is like a root, a veggie, so it holds water. So just like a zucchini. So you want to make sure that you kind of get that ahead of time for about an hour or two. So you see I'm adding my bechamel at the bottom. Then we're going to layer these hearts of palm noodles. I really hope this voiceover comes out right, because I'm not I'm not doing it again. So if y'all hear some hiccups, some coughs, some or me say something wrong, y'all gonna get what you got right here, okay? Because it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm about to lay it down, okay? So, but anyway, y'all see I'm layering it up really good. This ends up being a 2-layer lasagna because I only had one. I used one box. I could have opened up another box, but I would have had to let the noodles sit and get that moisture out, and I didn't have time for that. So I only made 2 layers. If I had another box open, I would have made 3 layers. So I'm just going to try to use my ingredients to make a 2-layer. So that's what's going on here. After you lay your noodles down, you're going to put that ricotta mixture down first. Make sure you cover all the noodles. Okay, class? Now we're going to add some of that spinach on there with the garlic and the shallots in it. Yeah. Just spread that all around just like so. Then you're going to add all your seafood on there. And you're going to see me putting a plentiful amount there because I'm making 2 layers. So I didn't want to have any leftover. So I added a little bit more extra seafood, as you can see. But if I had made 3 layers, I would have made that stretch. It definitely could have stretched. Then I put some of my mozzarella balls on there. This is some monster cheese that I shredded up. In the recipe that I saw, they were using Fontina cheese, I think it was. But they said if you didn't have that, to use Monster. I love Monster cheese. And this is just some shaved Italian cheese that I'm putting on there as well. And after you do that, you're going to put your next layer of noodles. So you got to put your bechamel down. So you're just repeating each step. And I'm believing you putting the bechamel sauce so that the noodles can stick to that and not your cheese. Because if you put that on top and just with the cheese, I think it would have just stuck. You know what I mean? So I think that's the method to this madness. Again, I've only made lasagna maybe once or twice in my life when I was a teenager. Not a teenager, but, you know, my younger self. So this is kind of new for me, and I'm just proud of myself. This took me a minute too, y'all. So, yeah. But anyway, you're going to repeat those steps. So as you can see here, it took me a minute because I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right. And when you're trying to tape and do a video when you're cooking, it takes a minute sometimes. So you got to make sure you get all the parts in there. So as y'all can see, I am redoing the steps, putting everything back on there, using all those ingredients. The only thing I had left over was some of that ricotta mixture, which I need to figure out something I could do with that. I might try to make me something with that because I did have a little bit of that left over. So we just added the rest of that seafood to the top, put our cheese on there, and yeah, pretty much almost done. I added a little Parmesan to the top with some of those shaved Italian cheese slices and the mozzarella. And there we go. It is all ready for the oven. Y'all, I don't even remember what I cooked this on. I want to say maybe 375 for like 20 or 25 minutes. And voila, this is what we have right here. You see the mozzarella. It looks so good, y'all. When it came out, it smelled good. You see that little juice to the side. It was like a little juicy, which it could have came from the noodles, or what else could, or it could have came from the spinach mixture, who knows, or a little butter. But it wasn't overly wet. Like when you do this with zucchini noodles, sometimes it could be overly juicy. It was not like that. And when I tell y'all, these noodles, you gotta get the Hearts of Palm noodles. Now, I don't know how everybody's tastes, but I can tell you this brand is really good. Their rice is good. Everything I've gotten from this brand, which you can get it from Amazon, I'll try to put the link down below. This is not a sponsored video, but they need to sponsor me. If y'all listening, sponsor me. What is it? Heavenly, I can't even think of the name of it. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Y'all seen it in the front. But yes, y'all, this came out good. My daughter had some. She said it was amazing. She like, even the Hearts of Palm noodles was so good. A friend of hers tasted it. She said he loved it as well. And I loved it. And I gave a piece to my cousin, waiting on him to call me to let me know how it tastes. Y'all, look at that. Made me a little low-carb chips to the side instead of garlic bread, and threw a little garlic salt on top of it. It hit perfect. Look at that. That's a little masterpiece right there. So y'all got to let me know if y'all try this. It was so good. When I tell you, the next day it hit even better. I don't know. Sometimes pasta dishes, when you eat them the next day, it just gives it, I guess the flavors just sit in there, and it just, So yeah, I ate some the next day for lunch, and it was amazing. That little pan was gone within the next day. My daughter went down there a couple times and yeah, helped herself. She like, Ma, I gotta give you some money so you can make this again. I said, not this weekend. It took me about 2 damn hours. But I love y'all. Let me know if y'all try this. I'm also going to post some on my Instagram. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep it Ketolicious. I love y'all. Bye.